There's a common belief that artists are just born talented, and that's just how it begins. You're just talented. You're talented, and you hear that, especially as a youngster with a predilection towards drawing. Oh, you're so talented. I don't think what people mistake for talent or quantify as talent really is talent. I think it's aptitude and desire more than anything. Nobody's really truly born talented at a thing. Now, yes, it's true throughout history there have been kind of these mad genius style people, artists who've been born with this natural gift to art and what would appear to be naturally talented. We're talking like math genius style, like there's precedent for that. But it's not the average. The average, even somebody who is naturally drawn towards art, it's more a matter of aptitude and desire than it is talent being some mythological or mystical impartation of a natural, God-given, perfected ability to create art. There really isn't that. Myself and my boys are what I would call naturally drawn to art. From a young age I heard it, oh, you're so talented, because I liked to draw. I wasn't talented. I had an aptitude for it. I had a desire for it. I had a natural inclination towards it, and I really enjoyed doing it. But it wasn't something that I just woke up one day and was like, oh, I can draw good because, I'm good. That's not how it works. It's aptitude. Let's just put it that way. It's the ability to see and understand things in an abstract way that is creatively driven. So, some people out there, and my point being is that some people get out there and they're like, well, I'm not a talented artist. I'm not talented. I've never been talented. I've never been, gifted in art. Well, I don't believe you have to be to become an artist. I'm going to use my dad as an example, my stepdad. He is a bronze sculpture artist, full-time. He is one of the most talented, let's put it that way, let's just use the word, talented artists I've ever seen. But he had no talent as a kid. He didn't draw, he didn't create, he didn't paint, he didn't do any of those things as a kid. He never picked up a brush or pencil or pen to draw until he was in his 30s. Late 20s and early 30s, he decided that he had a desire to create artwork and a natural aptitude for it. And so he started creating artwork, and he started just exploring all the different genre of artwork out there as a grown man, as an established grown man with a career in sculpture, or with a career in construction behind him. He realized that he had a desire to do art, and that he appeared to have a natural talent for it. And yes, I'm not going to say there isn't such a thing as a natural talent. It's just, I think it's often misconstrued, where there's aptitude and desire are misconstrued as a mythological talent. And the point being that whether or not you feel like you were born talented to art, aptitude and desire can trump all of that. Any natural skill you may have. Because there are natural skills. I do believe that. There are natural skills. I wouldn't call them talents. They're skills. They're natural skills to see and perceive the world as an artist. And this is more of a psychological thing than anything. And the rest of it is just learned skill. It's gained skill. It's to me, that makes more sense, is in a more accurate description of what makes a good artist, and that is the application of desire and aptitude towards, and maybe natural skill. We'll call it talent if you want, but it's the application of your desire and aptitude towards this to art. So You don't necessarily have to be born skilled. You don't necessarily have to be born an artist to be an artist. There's, I guess you could say a context for people who have a desire, and even if they've never really had aptitude towards it, to develop skills that allow them to participate in the world creatively. I think we all have some level of that. And yes, there are, and let's not discount at all the natural ability for some people to draw versus everyone else. There is just a natural ability in some people. But that doesn't mean others can't as well develop abilities based on just their desire to learn, skillfulness, desire to learn technique, desire to learn. I mean, like, I'll use myself as an example. I heard most of my young life because I had a desire to draw. I had a young predilection to it. Oh, you're so talented. And I believed that for a long time. Like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm talented. It's good. I don't have to worry about it. That was not actually true. I grew up kind of a mediocre artist because I didn't pursue any new skills. I didn't pursue. I guess that would be the point of this. Is it that label of being talented can stifle you as an artist in some ways because you kind of stop trying to learn or don't believe you have to learn. And one of my sons in particular, I am combating this in because he's been told he's believed and been told since he was very young that he's just naturally talented as an artist. And there's a level of truth to that. He is naturally gifted. I would say it's a creative gift, to desire to create. It's a desire, a gift of desire, and a gift of aptitude to create and be a creative person and be a creative individual. And so, now, he's in his teen years, and all teens think they know everything. He's very resistant to teaching, to learning. Sometimes he's kind of not convinced that he knows it all, but he kind of is in some ways. Like, no, I'm good. I do this naturally. I just know what I'm doing. I'm like, no, you really don't, but you have a desire and a natural gift to be creative and to express yourself creatively, and this is a beautiful, wonderful thing, but you could also learn how to be a better artist. And that's kind of the point. It's like, you can learn how to be a better artist if you don't allow the fallacy of talent or being naturally, magically talented to keep you from learning and growing in your skills. Because talent, aptitude, gifting is different than skillfulness. Skillfulness is the ability to apply your gifts wisely, to apply them dynamically, to apply them professionally, to apply them in more refined ways and to better result. And in humility, honestly, there's a level of humility that some may lack if given to belief that they are just naturally talented and they're good and that's it. Then you're not going to learn or grow much. And I had to learn that lesson the hard way because I heard my whole young life that you're talented, you're good, you're all set. You're not. I didn't realize until I was in my late 20s that I had a lot to learn and had no idea what I was doing as an artist. And no idea, no direction where I wanted to go or how to make it better, how to become better. And even more so now, in my late years, in my 40s, I find myself being more of a student and seeking education as a student more so, and seeking knowledge and growth in my skill sets than ever before. Like, and I even as a knife maker, I've been doing that for 15 years now, and I've gained a lot of skills in that. But recently in the last year or two, I've realized that, hey, I've got a long way to go, and I want to always be a student, never be a master. Never consider myself a master. Like, oh, I've mastered this, everything's good to go. No, I want to be a student. I want to be a student of art. I want to be a student of storytelling. I want to be a student of images and seeing the world as an artist. And that's one of my things that I individually pray for and ask God for. Is like, hey, I would like to see the world as an artist, and a true artist. I would like to see the world that way as a student of art, and learn and grow until I'm done, until I'm out, until it's over for me. I'm working on some concepts here for this Training Angels. I need to bring in my style sheet. Let's get some style sheet on here of, like, this is, I'm just gonna get this. This is an image I drew a couple months back, and it is something I'm going to use as kind of a style reference and guide as I'm creating these characters. So I drew this. This is a little, right here, just a little idea concept sketch I had for the anachronistic world of Training Angels. So it's on this planet that's a colony, a mining colony that was created in this huge chasm on a planet that has this mineral, and so a colony was established, atmosphere was established, and there's this there's a society within this chasm that exists on this planet. It's like a great crevice or chasm or canyon that scars the face of this really inhospitable planet. So, but because the chasm is down within the surface of the planet, closer to the core, it can, like a natural greenhouse gas effect, can be bolstered by their technology and create a livable environment. And that's what they did. They terraformed a little bit and created a livable environment. And over the centuries, a clan system developed for the families and houses that were in charge or whatever, that ran and protected the society and all that good stuff, and protected the mining operations, because there is a hostile element living on the surface of this planet. It's a really inhospitable surface, and the humans can barely survive up there, but there is other creatures that live there, and they're naturally there, and they actually were some in the chasm as well. And so this technology that brought them there was lost through a series of wars and conflicts between the clans. And so we fast forward a few hundred years, and they're into this anachronistic sort of medieval technological era again, like a regression into a medieval era where steel and swords and alloys are the primary weapon system, but it's coupled with some highly advanced technology remnants that are still there, and still useful in some ways, but small ways, and kind of they can still capture, the element, the core element that makes up the base of their technology still exists on the planet. And they can still harvest it, but the technology to actually harness it and become interstellar travelers again and all those things doesn't exist anymore, has been hidden or has been lost. So they've, kind of regressed to this more medieval style society with a little bit of tech, like cyberpunk mixed in, and it's like this constant battle between them and the surface dwellers, the surface dwellers on the planet to try to, control the planet, control the chasm really, and control and gain power and regain the knowledge of the technology that brought them there, because they did not come from this planet. They came from they were interstellar travelers who came here. And so that's the kind of rough, the rough take of the world. I have an idea for the other world, or some of the other members of the planet, I guess, or inhabitants of the planet, similar to this character here, that are remnants of another clan too, but they're surface dwellers. They're or maybe they're, this is one of the angels, one of the angel core. The crux of the story revolves around the angel core. And the angel core is the protectors, the guardians, the rangers. They go out into the wilderness areas and they fight the bad guys and all that good stuff, and do all those fun things. So I had a couple different ideas for this. So I'm just trying to compile these ideas and kind of inspirations that I've come up with over the years. This one is a version with the dark hair. I kind of like that a lot. So I'm just trying to find that again. I'm trying to find the story. I'm trying to find the whole image and the look and the feel of this, because it's kind of a cyberpunk sci-fi space, space medieval story, and that's what inspires me, and so that's where I'm going with it. But creating the characters is been a struggle in a lot of ways, because I've gone back and forth between really cutesy cartoony stuff over the years, which let's find another one. So this is one of the early characters that I'd created in for the training angels. So the angels aren't actually like winged angels. They're warriors in this angel corps, they call them, with these wing suits that help them glide around within the chasm. So they can only use this technology within the chasm or on the surface of the planet to just kind of glide and kind of like airborne. It's like medieval airborne, basically parachutists, but they have some control and they can fly around a little bit and that stuff. But they have to earn their wings. They have to work their way through the ranking systems and skill sets and stuff like that to earn their wings as members of the Angel Corps. And so it's not an easy thing to do. And there's definitely going to be some trial and error to it. So anyway, that's the I guess you could say the basis of the story is just that. And so I'm still trying to find the look of it. Like, what do the characters look like? What does the story really, what's the point and purpose of the story? Where do we go with it? And what does the world look like? This is a world building phase. And this part of it specifically, characters, doing faces and all this stuff, is the hardest part for me, is actually just coming up with like something that looks cool and is visually appealing. And I've kind of torn between styles, between a more anime charactered, expressive chibi style almost, to kind of a sort of realistic blend of anime and Western comic art type of thing. And then I'm just really working out all aspects of that style. And somebody who was maybe naturally talented could have figured this out a long time ago. And while I will say that I've probably been gifted for art since I was a kid, had the aptitude and the desire for it, my skills, in the last decade or so, I've kind of let them go in a lot of ways because of just my focus on my business and raising kids and family and stuff like that. I kind of let all these skills go, and I didn't really practice them as much as I should have. And it's only in the last year or two that I've started getting back into the practice, the disciplined practice, which here in this, let's sum up the video here in saying that the disciplined practice of your aptitudes and desires and your creative pursuits can outweigh or outmatch any level of natural talent you may think you have or don't have. Disciplined practice, the disciplined application of skills and learning new ones, growth in those skills. That's what makes the difference in an artist and a doodler, somebody who just likes to doodle and is naturally drawn towards it, and they're just kind of stuck in that pattern of doodling and not getting anywhere for years, like I was personally. I was stuck there for years, didn't get a long ways with it. I had periods of growth and I had periods of exponential learning. When I switched to digital art and started growing in illustration, some of my early digital arts were appalling. They were embarrassingly appalling, and so I had to bite the bullet and learn to learn, and fortunately I was given the opportunity to do that, and I did. So now I'm in another phase of learning. So let's go back to expressing this guy right here. Thank y'all for joining me on this video. That is all I got for today. Don't let your lack of talent or your belief in that you're naturally talented override your ability to work towards bolstering, garnering skills that can support your aptitudes, support your gifts, and use your gifts for creative things. y'all get out there and create something. I'll talk to you next time.